All right, hello, everybody, and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. This one is called Tender Comfort, and I will be playing Sammy Jax this evening. And with me is my very wonderful friend and co-conspirator.
That's a lovely title, Co-Conspirator. Hi, my name is Whis, and I'm playing Chifley Ford today.
Who we love very much and who is a very good bean.
He does his best.
All right, so let me paint you a word picture. This will contain spoilers for Showtime. If you have not watched that one yet, please go perceive that one. This will most likely delve into medium to high angst. You have been forewarned. Please self-care. All right, Chifley, it's been a bit. You haven't seen Gil in over a week, which is really weird because usually Gil drags you and Sammy into various shenanigans, and both of you had gotten worried, and the last that you heard from Sammy was that he was going over to Gil's apartment after, while you were at work. And it's been a while after that. Just to see how long it takes, how can you roll me a perception check real quick?
Sure, that seems like a good place to start. Okay. Would help if I actually have his sheet open. That's a +5, so that's a dirty 20 right off the bat.
Dirty 20. You basically instantly hear the moment when your your phone starts to ring.
Oh, he has a phone now. Another randomly materializing phone. How wonderful.
Because Toon logic.
And, convenience.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm gonna roll in my hammer space to actually pull it out of his hammer space in confusion. That is an 8. That is not a 1. So he hears this noise and he's going to sort of stop and then look around and then be like, wait, I've seen this before. What?
This happened to Sammy.
This happened to Sammy. And he's just going to stick his hand in his pockets and pull out this cell phone. I'm imagining it's just this blue little flip phone. Like the old Nokia ones.
Yeah.
And he just sort of flip it open and then put it to his ear in a very, very confused, hello?
Oh, hi, Chif.
Sammy.
Yeah, I didn't know if this would work.
Apparently. I have manifested a phone now.
Oh, okay, it did work. I really didn't know if it would work or not. I just dialed a random number and prayed to Presbytone that it would work, and it worked. Hi.
Well, hi. Are you okay?
Well, I'm okay. I'm currently stuck, though.
Stuck?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need me to come and get you, or?
No, I'm... Gil is a koala right now.
Oh, you're with Gil. Okay, good. Is Gil okay?
And you can just hear the, oh boy, there's a lot to unpack there, sigh, and he's exhausted right now, Jeff. He's got a point of exhaustion. He's out cold now because I convinced him to finally sit on the bed, and then eventually he passed out, but he's not doing okay, Jeff.
Okay. Sounds like he doesn't need any more visitors right now.
No, you would not be able to wake him up. I guarantee that. I've poked his cheek several times, and yeah, no, he just kind of muttered under his breath, a lot of stuff because he talks in his sleep.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll leave you to it.
Chif,
You let me know if you need anything, okay?
I will, but hey, Chif,
Yeah.
be careful. Something's going on. Gil's brother is missing.
Oh.
Yeah, Gil, I was basically able to help Gil narrow down the possibilities to who it might be. So, just be careful. I don't know who this Kyle is, but from what Gil was talking about, he's bad news, and if he decides to pick off more tunes off of the streets, I want you to be prepared. Don't leave the house without any spell slots prepared or anything, okay?
I'll keep an eye out.
Okay.
You make sure you stay safe too, okay?
Don't worry. I'll be as safe as I can be. Gil is probably gonna do something stupid, I know it.
Oh, he wouldn't be Gil if he didn't.
No, he wouldn't. And you can kind of audibly tell that there is a smile on his face.
That kind of fond tone.
Mm-hmm.
Tiff's got it too, so it's like, yeah. Okay. Well, apparently you have my phone number now.
I'm still honestly a little surprised that worked.
You'll have to tell me what number you stuck in, because that's really useful.
Sammy kind of just rattles out a number.
There's a loud rustle of paper and a pen, and he's writing it down on a post-it note.
Yeah, and Sammy just kind of sighs into the receiver, and he's just, love you, Chif. Be safe, okay?
Okay. You too.
I'll
call me whenever you need.
Yeah, I'll hopefully call you in the morning with what is going on.
Okay.
If we get more details.
All right.
It's late. You probably have work tomorrow, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. But I'll clock out if you need me to, okay?
Okay. Stay safe.
You too.
And Sammy's gonna hang up the phone.
Chifley is going to try and figure out how to hang up the phone because he's never used one of these before. So it's going to take him a beep, 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 click. Aha! I worked it out.
Alright, so the next day rolls around. You wake up, Chifley, get Missy all prepared for school and stuff. Because I believe it is Monday. That was when Showtime went down.
Yeah, I think it was a Monday, yeah.
Yeah, so you get Missy all prepared for school and stuff, and you get prepared for work. Do you say anything to Missy before you guys leave?
Absolutely not. He's not going to tell Missy about any of that. Like, she's been asking where Gil and Sammy were because she likes Gil and Sammy quite a bit too. But the only thing that he does say to her is when they get to school, he just says to her, "Don't leave school with anybody else today." okay? Only, like, wait for me. And she'll just sort of smile and nod and go, okay, Chifley, and off she goes, running into the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it. And then he's just sort of, he'll watch her go into the building and then just sigh and head to work.
Mm-hmm. And it's a pretty run-of-the-mill day of work. You do your usual tasks and stuff, but you notice the fact that Sammy hasn't called.
Yeah, he's been on edge all day. It's like, at the beginning, it was like, oh yeah, they were really tired. It was up late. They slept in. That's fine. And then there's still nothing. And he's just like, I don't like this at all. Do I call? Do I not call? Oh no.
Mm-hmm. And the day continues, and Sammy hasn't called, and it comes close to the time where you pick up Missy again from school.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely on edge. Like, his spear is not exactly subtle.
Mm-hmm.
But he does have some daggers, so he's actually pulled his. Actually, I should roll this. Let's do this properly. Oh, okay. 10s on this D10 are a 0. He's pulled a dagger out of his hammer space and then just put it in his pocket, like in his pocket. So he's like, okay, if I need to shank somebody, I can. It's not as good as with my spear, but we're prepared and I'm subtle. It's fine. I'm so on edge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the night continues. You get safely home. There's nothing has really happened in Toontown. You notice, like, it's just the regular chaos that happens when tunes are tunes.
Same shit, different day.
Basically, and as the night goes on, Sammy still hasn't called. But when do you think Chifley would finally give up and fall asleep? Do you think?
It'd take a while. It would definitely take a while because he'd as soon as he'd pick Missy up, he'd have to put on a front for her. So he would he would pretend everything was fine to the best of his ability. And Missy is pretty cluey. Like, I'm not going to bother rolling for her because she's pretty cluey because she can hear his background music same as he can hear hers, and he's not the best at deception. Not going to lie about that. But she's also smart enough to tell that he doesn't want to talk about it. And so he just busies himself with doing all the normal stuff with her after school and getting them ready for bed, and then she goes to bed, and then he just sort of sits on the couch in the lounge room and just quietly has a tiny panic. It's just like he hasn't heard from Sammy. He doesn't know if Sammy's fine. He doesn't know if Gil is fine. What's going on? And he's I'm going to roll again on that D10. That's an 8. That's fine. He pulls his phone out again, and he's actually just sort of staring at his new little flip phone going, do I call? Do I spend 2 hours trying to figure out how to use this thing? And yeah, that's currently where he's at. And it's quite late. Like, I think midnight kind of late before he passes out on the couch.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, can you roll perception for me?
Certainly. That is not as good as the other one, but that's okay. That is 5 plus a... Well, what does I say? His thing was 5. So that's a 10.
Okay, so you don't hear the key click into the lock. And you don't hear the door open and then quietly shut. And it's early. Really early in the morning. And, but A 10 is good enough that you kind of feel you're awake enough to feel the couch cushion on the other side of the couch from you kind of just slump as if someone's sitting there.
He's gonna kind of just sort of lift his head, because I sort of picture him having slumped over onto the arm of the couch, and he's just gonna lift his head and just sort of blink at the room, that kind of what year is it kind of blink when you've done an all-nighter and then suddenly you're awake after not very long of sleep. He's just kind of doing that, and he hasn't sort of turned to look at whoever is on the other side of the couch. He's just sort of there. What is awake?
Would you have said that the lights are still on?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There is a very quiet hi, Jeff.
And he kind of blink, and then starts as the voice sort of penetrates in that zombie mode, and he just whips around. His eyes are really, really wide. He's like, Sammy?
Yeah, it's me. I'm back. Hi.
Oh, you're okay.
Yeah.
He just sort of rubs at his eye, and then turns his whole self and sort of scooches over the couch to where Sammy is.
Sammy just kind of leans closer to Chifley and just, you don't even need to roll for this. Sammy's exhausted.
They match. Yeah, he kind of goes a little bit stiff because he wasn't expecting Sammy to do that. He's just like, are you okay? And just wraps his arms around Sammy very gently.
I'm fine. And we're just gonna roll. We're gonna roll. That's a +1. Okay, 17. You might want to roll an insight on that.
Yeah, what are we doing today, Dice? Oh, Chif's tired. Why is it going bling? Why is it doing that? There we go.
Okay.
Nope.
So you believe that Sammy is fine. Just really, really tired. But you can kind of smell a whiff of just off-smelling smoke, and just you can basically smell that he's been in a battle.
Oh, he doesn't like that. He's gonna raise one of his hands up so it's resting gently on the back of Sammy's head and kind of give just a gentle little pat. You said you were going to call.
I'm sorry, Chif. I meant to, but then we found Marcel's hat, and Gil wanted to get to McSpawn, and then just everything spiraled from there, and it just kept going.
No, it's okay. You found him.
Yeah.
Everyone's okay.
Everyone's okay. No one died. No one died.
Thank goodness. And he's just going to give Sammy a bit of a squeeze. I don't blame you for acting quickly. I'm just glad you're okay.
That bastard was gonna... What is up with Realkind just wanting... just viewing us as components to damn spells and...
Realkind. That Kyle person?
Yeah.
You mentioned?
He was a Realkind.
I'm gonna make him roll another insight just quickly. Hey, that's a little bit better. Why are you going bidding, computer? What's wrong?
21, a dirty 21. All right. As you're holding Sammy, Chifley, as you kind of just give Sammy a pat on the back of the head, you notice that he's trembling, and he actually hasn't reached around to hug you back, which is weird for Sammy because he loves hugs and he loves cuddles. But instead, he's clutching at his wrist, where you know that the dots on his wrists aren't freckles.
Nope. Oh boy. Chifley's just gonna take a second, and then he's gonna pull Sammy more into his lap. You're not okay, Sammy.
Gil went down.
You can feel Chifley's breath just sort of stop.
He's okay. I don't know what that blast did, but it took down McSpawn, it took down Tobias, it took down Gil, and I thought they were dead for a moment. And I wanted to stab that bastard through the heart.
Oh, Sammy. I'm so sorry.
It should have been me there. I don't want to see Gil like that ever again.
What color is Sammy right now?
Honestly, I've got to think of what he's feeling right now. Honestly, it's this kind of dingy brownish gray. But Chifley would know that color as despair.
Right, that one. That fun one. Oh, he's just gonna give Sammy a really... It's not like a bone-crushing hug or anything. It's one of those firm, grounding kind of hugs. He's just sort of holding Sammy close to his chest. Is this real kind a threat anymore?
No. A fucking snake ate him.
A snake?
A giant fucking snake that happened to be a deity or something that I thought he could control it.
Huh. Wow. Well, I'm glad he's not a threat anymore.
Yeah, me too, because Chif, and his shading shifted to horror. You immediately know that he's horrified, and he's just Chif. He was using outlines of string. Like,
oh, you can feel a shudder go up Chifley's back.
Yeah, and there were jars of, I don't know if it was just color or if it was ink. I was able to not go back to it. he and he just kind of trails off, but his hands are holding his wrist very, very, very tightly, and he's shaking.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna do him a whiz check just quick. Ha! Lovely.
Oh,
It is an 18 plus. I need the exclamation mark or it won't do math. Cool, 22. So he takes a second and then reaches a hand down and puts it on top of Sammy's where it is on his wrist. You once told me how drawing ink made you feel.
Sammy
And
just kind of nods.
Was it like that? Was this person doing what was done to you?
Something similar. I don't know where he got those colors. I don't know if it was ink or if it was... But... fucking real kind. Why do they hurt us, Chif?
I don't know. I really don't. And he just sort of rubs at Sammy's hand with his thumb back and forth really gently. These marks. Those were from a real kind too.
Simon Sinclair. That's his name. He... God, I should have left Toontown when I first saw him. I should have left.
But you didn't.
And he fucking kidnapped me anyways.
This is the person on Gil's list, isn't it?
He's still out there. I don't know where he is or who he's hurting right now, but he's still out there. He's still out there, Chif.
Do an insight for me.
Okay, insight is a +1. Oh, dirty 20! No, not a dirty 20. That's a nat 20.
Nat 20, noise.
Nat 20.
Excellent. Okay, so with the benefit of literally being lying on top of Chifley at this stage, you can kind of feel him go stiff. And while Sammy wouldn't consciously recognize how Chifley feels right now, it is a bit familiar. Back after the whole eat your heart out debacle, Chifley got cranky. More cranky than he'd ever been in a very long time. And there's something that sort of twigs to Sammy that this is what Chifley feels like when he's angry. It's a different kind of angry to back then, but it is angry. And he just sort of shifts his shoulders a little. And then you don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but what did this Sinclair want with you? With your ink?
If you want to know what he wanted, I'm gonna have to start from the beginning. It's not. Sammy just kind of sighs and he kind of shifts a little so he's looking at Chifley. And he just is like, it's not a happy thing, Chif.
These things really are the things that such simple gestures and actions can shake our psyche so bad. You saw what happened to me with mine.
Sammy just nods and he's just, are you sure you want me to tell you? It's not pretty, Chif. None of this is pretty. And he just kind of raises his arm and you see his sleeve fall down, and you thought that the dots were just around his wrists, because when you had talked in the ECCR, that's all that was really shown, and that's when you'd first glimpsed his you had first glimpsed it looked like it just went to his wrist. It just encircled his wrists, but the dots go up to almost his elbow in reality.
Oh, he doesn't like that. He kind of moves his other hand to gently put his fingers under Sammy's chin and just lift his face ever so slightly. I want to know. Because if I know, then I know what he might try. And I know I'm not as strong as Gil or as you, but if this person comes near you, I want to be ready.
Sammy's eyes kind of shudder a bit, and he just kind of nods. Okay. My parents they sold rare items. These items were very, they were very popular with Real Kind in particular. One was called Lovers Inc. And that one was the most popular. And then there was Slighted Rage, there was Melancholy Blue. They sold ink in a wide array of colors.
There is a frown on Chifley's face. He already does not like the way this is going.
Yep, I am so sorry, Chif. It's gonna get worse.
Pray for our boys. Oh dear.
And Sammy kind of just, he looks down at his wrist and kind of thumbs the portion that encircle his wrist, and he very quietly says, when I was 5, when I turned 5 is when I was supposed to start helping with the family business. So after I turned 5, every summer we'd we'd leave Ghibli and travel to our summer home that was located in it was a real kind population. I don't really remember where. I never really wanted to know where the manor was located, really. And they were the first people to give me these marks. But you gotta understand, Chif, they loved me. They had to have loved me. Their skin was pink when they'd look at me, and I hated what they did, but they had to love me.
Chifley is visibly biting his tongue.
Sammy his shoulders kind of hunch up a little, and he's not really looking at you, Chif, and he just kind of plows on, because this is something he's never fully told anyone except for Barks and Coda. Because with Gil, Sammy would say vague things, but Gil is Gil. Gil does not connect dots sometimes. And so therefore a conversation cannot be had sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So Gil has pieces of information. And he kind of just leans his head into your side, Chif, and he just... It stopped when I was 10, but not because of any choice they made or any big business practice change. The manor burned down, and I was told to run, and I didn't stop running until I got to Toontown. I don't remember all of the night. I remember the flames most, just running out of the manor, and I got to the woods and I looked back once. There was someone there. I couldn't make out who or why, but my parents wouldn't have set our mansion on fire.
Was this from the Real Kind manor or the Ghiblian one?
Real Kind. I went back to Haku for a little bit, just as I was running, basically, and it was gone. I don't know what happened. It was gone. Everything connected to my family's gone, Chif.
Chifley's hand has started idly patting Sammy's hair. Like, not in the I'm going to make you sleep kind of on his scalp, but just ever so gently petting the surface.
Mm-hmm. I don't know who did it, or why, or anything like that, but one thing I still know about is that all of these Real Kind still really want Jack's ink. That's what my family called it, Jack's ink.
Hmm.
When I got to Toontown, this is where Sinclair comes in. When I first met him, he was so nice. Just, I hadn't been talked to in a way like that for months. I would have gone with him willingly if he hadn't put charm magic, and it's a bit of a blur, that moment. I don't really remember how I broke out. It might have been squeakers, it might have been me accidentally crashing into something, but something broke the charm, and I ran. And it was quiet for 8 years. And then Coda and I had argued earlier. I wanted to find Tally because I needed to find her or Mixed Donut or Floof, and we argued. And I went off in one direction, and Coda stayed behind where we had our little hideout, and then Sinclair found me. Again. Him and his men. And if it wasn't for Squeakers, Coda, and for Jackie, his little frat companion like I have, it would have been over there. I wouldn't have been able to meet you, or Gil, or seen Tally ever again. It would have ended there. But
this ink that your parents sent, they would sell. Your ink. What did it do? Surely not for something like writing with.
Well, you could use it for writing, but the reason why I scar with the color of the emotion I was feeling is because our blood is imbued with that emotion. If you take a certain ink with a certain color, then you can perform magic that can alter someone's emotions with that ink. Or at least that's what some of Sinclair's men were babbling about, because we did sell our ink for writing purposes. It was just supposed to be a fun gimmick for these real kind. It was lucrative. We wouldn't have had a manor if it wasn't lucrative.
With that kind of power, that man was planning to bleed you dry.
He probably would have. They don't care about their and Sammy just kind of, he jaw kind of locks up, and he says, they don't care about their stock like that. They don't care if they break us. When the third time I saw Sinclair...
Chifley takes his hands. Oh. Okay, I'm going to stop interrupting.
You're valid. It's just, there's a little bit left that Sammy has to tell, because...
Nope, he won't interrupt. He can see Sammy keep trying to talk. I can't.
This is the problem when it's just VC. It's hard to tell cues. Sammy, he... The third time when he actually got me, his people, they cared more about just making me scream than getting the blood, getting the ink. But they still wanted it. And just, they had a changeling there on staff who made themselves look like Coda. Like my little baby brother. And there are times I look at him and I can see why they would think that he would do something like that. But at the same time, he's my brother.
Coda is very protective of you.
Yeah, he embarks in Tally and Benji. They found me. And I was so angry, Chif. But I just wanted to go home. Wanted to go home. And it was the first time he actually called me brother. And he just kind of leans and kind of puts his face into your stomach.
Yeah. Chifley sort of moves his hand down off Sammy's hair and gently rubs Sammy's back ever so slightly, and then thinks about it and takes his hand away. And then, did they give you that scar on your back?
Sammy flinches. No, Coda and I were fighting that second time. He didn't want me to go. I should have listened. I should have just listened. Then he wouldn't have known that I was still in Toontown.
It's not your fault.
Sammy doesn't say anything to that.
Chifley puts his hand on Sammy's shoulder, keeping it well away from where he knows the scar on Sammy's back is. And he's quiet for a moment, and then leans down and just rests his cheek on Sammy's head. You couldn't have known. Sinclair would have been still here. You couldn't have known that it was going to happen that way.
I should have, though. I've been... I don't stay in places very long, Chif.
I understand. You were alone when you got here. Why would you stay put? But, Sammy, you're not alone anymore. You have Mr. Barkson, you've got Coda, you've got Tally, you've got me, you've got Gil. And all those other people who came to save you from Sinclair, I don't know them. But I do know that if they've saved you once, they'd save you again if you needed it, at the drop of a hat. And while Gil's approach isn't something that I think I'd be brave enough to do. If this person comes anywhere near you, I will be standing right by Gil's side. And when Gil's sword strikes, my spear will as well. He will not touch you again.
I don't want you anywhere near him. I don't want you. I can't. You can't, Chif. Don't go looking for him.
I won't.
You can't. He's killed people, Chif.
I think it was you that said some people need to be removed from the world.
But, Chif, I'm not worth that. I'm not.
Chifley's going to bring his hands around and put them on both of Sammy's cheeks and just pat where those markings on his cheeks are with his thumbs. You are worth it, Sammy Jax. You are worth defending. And if the time comes where that is necessary, I will stand and defend you. With every weapon I have, with every spell I have. No one gets to remove your worth. Least of all this person. You are not a spell component. You are not a thing. You are Sammy. You are delightful. You are a person. And you matter.
I don't want to lose anyone else because of me. I don't want... Please.
You won't. Have a little faith in us. You've seen what Gil can do. And, well, hopefully you'll never see what I can do.
I'm scared, Chif. I don't...
I know. I know. I have faith in you. And I want you to have faith in me. If he comes near you, you will regret it. You don't belong to him. You don't belong to anyone.
I just don't want to lose anyone else.
It's okay. He can't get you here.
He changed my eyes. They weren't always gold. Prismatone says they're scarred from that damn magic.
It's hard. I know. Some scars are like that. You've seen mine. And I can hide mine. And you've seen Gil's. And you've seen what Gil's can do. He's left his mark, but that doesn't define you. Okay?
Sammy just kind of, his eyes shudder a little bit and he just kind of nods. His voice is kind of faded at this point. He's just kind of quiet and there's tears budding at the corners of his eyes. But you also just get the sense that some of the self-worth issues have been deeply rooted even before Sinclair. Because with that, I'm still rolling with that 22 that you got earlier.
Mm-hmm.
This is an issue that Sammy has been fighting against, but it's very deeply rooted. It's not going to be fought in a day.
No. He, Chifley wipes those tears away out of the corners of Sammy's eyes. There's no benefit to holding onto this so closely to your heart. If you need to cry, then cry. If you need to scream, I've got a good pillow over there. Missy's asleep. But you are safe here now. Sinclair wouldn't dare come in here right now. And if he did, Gil won't be the one to finish him off. I will make his eardrums burst. I will make him bleed as much ink as you've shed over him. But he will not touch you.
He just kind of presses his face close to you, Chif, and he's just... The only reason why you can probably hear this is just the fact that your ears have been trained to pick up the most minute noises.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just the very most quietest... Thanks, Chif. Thanks. Right.
Chifley just leans down and gives Sammy a kiss on his forehead. I might take tomorrow off work. You and I can take Missy to school, and then we can just stay in. You seem tired.
It's been a very long day. I stole that bastard's books.
That actually does get a small snort out of Chifley. He's like, you stole his books.
Just upended a shelf. Thunk, 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 right into the hammer space. They give me such a gross feeling, though. I'm gonna need to talk to Mix Bond about them.
Well, sounds like he doesn't need them anymore, so...
Nope, but they give me the gross vibes. They don't... I don't want to have anything of his in my hammer space for too long. God's Chif, it...
Once you've offloaded them, we can go and buy some bleach. Just dump some bleach in there. That might help.
I would have to empty out my entire hammer space in order to do that, because I don't want to bleach. I don't want to bleach. I don't want to bleach.
Perfect. Thank you, nice passer. That is a 1. That is a 1. You didn't put the exclamation mark in there, didn't you?
Okay,
there we go.
14. He pulls out. He pulls out a lost and found flyer, and he's like, blank, blank, blank. Yeah, I wouldn't want to get this bleached. He just kind of sets that down and then starts digging through his hammer space again. And he pulls out a plush crab. He's like, I don't want to bleach this. Or this. And he pulls out a gigantic stuffed dove.
Aww. Chifley sort of looks over the 2 plushies and sort of just nods. No, they wouldn't look good in white. I don't think I have enough space in the apartment for everything in your hammer space.
No, I could probably store some stuff at the garden. But
we do have a bath.
Blink, 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 blink.
Something that my mother used to really enjoy when her illness was quite bad, but she wasn't bedridden. Well, she used to like getting scented oils and a nice bubble bath, and she would sit in our bath back in our house. And she would just sit there in the warm water and breathe in her favourite scents. And it was revitalizing for a while. So, after you've offloaded the victims. Maybe we could do that.
Yeah. That sounds nice, Chif. And he kind of just sets the dove down at the foot of the couch and then just kind of squishes the crab plushie underneath his chin because it's considerably smaller.
Chifley just sort of leans into Sammy a bit and reaches a hand around and to try and grab it at one of Sammy's and thread his fingers in Sammy's.
Sammy kind of moves his hand so it's a lot easier to do that.
You'll be okay. You can stay here for as long as you need.
Okay, I'm gonna need to talk to Kill, too. We arrested after everything went down, but he needed space, so we didn't really talk after everything, after Marcel was rescued.
I feel like I could not offer the correct amount of support, so I wasn't there. Wish I was. I wish I could have helped.
There was a very big party, Chif. I felt like everybody in Dodo Studios went.
Well, maybe I would have just gotten in the way.
I honestly feel like I got in the way a little bit at times. I was just there to really help and support Gil.
And I'm sure you did wonderfully at that. He gives Sammy's hand a bit of a squeeze and then smiles. And there is a sound of violin that slowly raises in volume in the background, coming from nowhere in particular, something that you're kind of accustomed to happening around Chifley now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's calm and kind of peaceful sort of violin. And he says, you should come to bed and get some sleep. And we can deal with anything else in the morning.
Okay, Can I hold you? I don't want to be alone tonight.
For as long as you need.
Thanks, Jeff. And off they go to bed, I assume.
Yep, Chifley's gonna help Sammy up off the couch and move them both over to the nice large bed in Chifley's bedroom, and Chifley's gonna get into his pajamas because he's still in his clothes, and I'm going to just assume at this point that a set of Sammy's nightgowns just happens to live at Chifley's house now.
Mm-hmm.
Get Sammy changed, and Chifley's going to very carefully tuck Sammy into the bed and snuggle him very close beside him and just gently pat Sammy's hair until he falls asleep.
I'm gonna honestly say that he probably passes out as soon as his head hits the pillow.
Which is valid.
Just thunk out cold.
Yeah. And Chifley's going to do it anyway. He's just going to keep patting at Sammy's hair for a long while until he's comfortable enough falling to sleep, because he knows it's comforting. And if nothing else, it'll keep nightmares at bay.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose that's where we fade to black.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Poor Sammy. I want to hug him so bad.
I know, I'm sorry. I hope y'all enjoyed listening to Sammy's backstory. Thank you all for listening.
Oh dear, oh dear. And yeah, okay, well, this is us signing off, and we'll see you at the next thing.
Bye.
Well, bye-bye.